are Family Feud this morning at 8 on Fox 14.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Christmas came a little bit early for kids who are battling cancer. KOAM's Jasmine Knight has those details.
Plus, a train ride in the Monette helped bring in the several foster and adopted families into the Christmas spirit.
And we've got ourselves a cold start out there and a pretty chilly day ahead of us. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner just after 7 o'clock on this Monday morning. Mm-hmm. There are days that we are honestly in Anchorman mode, whereas if it's not on here, we won't read it. If it is on here, we will read it.
I will read the teleprompter word for word.
If it gets scrolled ahead, we no longer remember how to introduce the show.
Yeah.
Like if it accidentally gets skipped ahead, sometimes that happens. That control wheel for you at home, you don't know. It's really sensitive. You skip
Get it
ahead.
Together, Tennyson, is what we're trying to say.
You sit there and it's gone. You're like, we've only done this forever, but I don't really remember what it is we say here because it's usually right in front of me. What do we say?
Well, I don't know.
It's a great Monday morning across the area and a great event happening over the weekend.
That's true. The season of giving is upon us, and a local organization in Monette is giving back by helping bring the spirit of Christmas to kids with cancer. KOAM's Jasmine Knight has the story.
Camp Quality is a year-long support program that has a goal of letting kids with cancer be kids again.
And we just want to give them a safe place to come, to be comfortable, and just live life to their fullest.
For their annual holiday party, they chose Monette's YMCA, where kids can enjoy basketball, rock climbing, air hockey, ping pong, swimming, and more. For many, Camp Quality has meant so much to them.
We have been doing this for the past 25 years, I'd say. I've been involved for about 27 years. I was a camper at first, and now blessed to be able to be the director over it.
The special event had a few notable donors as well. Today's food was sponsored by the Christian Hetty Foundation, operated by KOAM's chief meteorologist, Doug Hetty. For the children involved, it makes a huge impact.
Well, it makes it way better whenever I get to meet other kids that have been through pretty much the same thing that I've been through. And it's like comforting that we could talk about the same thing and they actually know what I'm meaning and stuff.
Thanks to the Christian Hetty Foundation and Camp Quality, these kids with cancer were able to be kids again. Reporting in Monette, Jasmine Knight, KOAM News.
In the U.S., there are 17 total Camp Qualities, each one looking to create a better quality of life for kids going through tough times.
Certainly an excellent event out there for them, and they need that break. They need an opportunity to just be kids. And we were just talking about this. There was a very big news story that went by about 5 days ago. Nobody's covered it.
What is it, Chris?
It's like the biggest story ever.
What is it?
Well, 5 days ago, the place that we're sitting in right now officially turned 70 years old.
Woo! Look at that. If these walls could talk.
Of history in this studio. And I remember, I've seen some of our old clips, that where Dow spoke to folks that were here in the past. The news desk used to sit right over in this area. So we're sitting where they were first broadcasting the news 70 years ago.
I love that.
Something incredible has happened, and it is incredibly of 70 years of history. Like you said, if these walls could talk. They can't, but we can, and we're going to tell you about the forecast. And thankfully, we don't have to do it the same way they used to do. Quick look outside from the MoDOT, this is not the MoDOT. This is our camera on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. Now, 70 years ago, couldn't have done that, and I would have been coming over to a chalkboard and writing out what the forecast was going to be. So technology certainly changing. There's those clouds. We're actually starting to go mostly cloudy in Joplin, but these will be brief. There's a little pocket of clouds kind of surging south right through the area. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking pretty good so far. 34 in Joplin, 35 in Pittsburgh. So a cold start, but still technically a little above average out there. Temperatures today are going to be average but cool compared to what we've been used to. We're talking upper 30s, low 40s with just a few passing clouds here and there. We're going to clear out this evening before clouding back up a bit, and it's going to be breezy today. North winds gusting upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. We have rain chances on the way and some warmer weather on the way. We'll talk about all that in the full forecast a little later. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Police say a vehicle ramped over the roundabout on South Main and crashed Friday night. It happened around 11:30 p.m. Witnesses say the vehicle was traveling around 100 miles per hour before it took to the air and came crashing down. 2 men were in the car. The driver was taken to the hospital, though the extent of his injuries are unknown, and the passenger refused care at the scene. The Webb City VFW yesterday partnered with the First United Baptist Church to collect canned goods for area families ahead of Christmas. They boxed up donated items as well as a turkey, sugar, and eggs. More than 10 families received boxes this year.
This is part of what we do. Here we're both, American Legion and the VFW, and both of us, we try to help other veterans, and also we try to give back to our community, and this is a part of us trying to give back to our community.
Sunday was the last day that canned food could be donated. And locals in the Webb City area yesterday had the chance to put their creativity skills to use at a brunch and painting party. Painters used a picture as a template for the paint party and were encouraged to put their own artistic spin on their canvas. The event was hosted by Christine's Vineyard.
I start with a sketch. I usually try to give them something to work off of, and then from there they can look at what I painted and use that as a guide, but then they can get creative and do their own thing.
The Vineyard will also be holding a 1920s themed murder mystery event on New Year's Eve. Volunteers in Webb City Saturday laid wreaths on the graves of veterans. Nearly 1,200 wreaths were placed on graves at a Mount Hope cemetery. The Webb City ROTC hosted a special program for the ceremony. Before the ceremony, each grave was prepared with a handmade shepherd's hook. An AM Railroad and For the Kids Foster and Adoptive Parents Association partnered up to host a holiday train ride for families in Monette. Each train car had Christmas carols, and those in attendance enjoyed cookies and hot chocolate. Santa was also there to pass out goodie bags and to spread some holiday cheer.
I just wanted to donate the caboose so the public could enjoy it and go for rides on it. And so I could go for rides on it also, and Jay.
The train ride lasted approximately 1 hour round trip going from Monette to Exeter, Missouri. Up next, the U.S. is seeing a rise in homelessness. We'll hear what could be the reason leading to those high numbers. And later, Tanya Bach takes us to a little town that you may not know about. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
The Christmas shop in Pittsburgh
costs you nothing to see if we can help.
And there's only 7 days left until Christmas, and you know what that means? It's time for us to kick off our annual Pictures with Santa segment. First up, we've got a trio: Valerie, age 3, Luke, age 1, and Matthew, age 2 from Pittsburgh.
And we've got Everly McDaniel, who's 5 from Carl Junction.
Next up, we have Kinsley McDaniel, age 12 from Carl Junction.
And we've also got McKinley Ray Stewart, who's 11 and from Pittsburgh.
Also from Pittsburgh, we have Piper Kellogg, age 8.
And last but certainly not least, we're going to close out today's Pictures with Santa with Amelia and Ophelia Beckley, who are both 9 and 6 from Cherryvale, Kansas.
And we're going to showcase even more Pictures with Santa over the course of the week on the Morning News. So make sure that you stay tuned for that.
Absolutely. And you're going to want to stay tuned for that forecast because it's a cool day out there, but seasonable for us. We're going to take a look at that forecast here in just a moment. And coming up, tensions in the Red Sea ramping up as the U.S. military shoots down multiple drones. That story and much more in Nation Watch.
Don't wait. Give Value Homes in Neosho a call today and check out valuehomesonline.com.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:13, coming up on 7:14 on this Monday morning, 7 days until Christmas, and it kind of feels like it out there. Quick look outside from our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. The winds, there they go, really starting to blow our camera around down there. These clouds racing off to the south, and we're going to have mostly clear skies through today and cool weather. Murdoch camera, 20th and range line, another view of those clouds out there across the area, starting to obscure the sunrise a little. And not a bad start either from the KDOT camera on 69 just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and range line, you can see those clouds again racing off to the south. 34 in Joplin, north-northwest breeze at 13. That makes it feel like 25, and we're seeing gusts upwards of 20, and we'll continue to do so. We'll see gusts 20, 25 miles an hour through the day. 32 in Iola, 34s in Chanute, Neodesha, Fort Scott, Lamar, and Stockton. 35, Pittsburgh, Parsons, Chatopa, and 36 down in Miami, Grove, and Jay. So we have that chilly start, low mid 30s out there, breezy again. A few clouds here and there, mid to upper 30s by late morning. It is chilly today, but average as our highs go upper 30s, low 40s with those mostly clear skies. And then, believe it or not, we're going to clear out this evening. Clear skies, and then we're going to cloud back up a bit, go partly cloudy overnight, cold, but again seasonable as we go into the mid to upper 20s. Temperatures we're going to climb above average as we head through the rest of the week. Low 50s Tuesday, mid 50s Wednesday, increasing clouds, and then increasing rain chances as we head into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and potentially into very early Sunday morning out there. Most of the computer models agree this is the timing on the rain. There's one straggler out there, which we'll keep an eye on because we've seen this happen the last few systems that suggest that this is going to slow down and push the rain further into the weekend and into the start of next week. So we'll keep an eye on that one because that's what's happened the last couple of rain systems we've had is they've slowed down and that's delayed their arrival. But right now, this is where we're looking at the best window for rain. Now, we go from 60 Christmas Eve day, early highs upper 40s, averaging the low 40s for us on Christmas Day. So cold, it'll feel like December, but unfortunately, no white Christmas out there. Low 40s again Tuesday, and we return to right around 50 degrees by next Wednesday. That is a quick check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin for Nation Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are safe after a car collided into a vehicle that was part of his motorcade in Wilmington, Delaware. Biden was attending a campaign event last night when the crash occurred. Footage shows Secret Service agents quickly escorting Biden into his SUV moments after the collision. Police then surrounded the car, which sustained bumper damage. He heard telling the driver to keep his hands up. The Bidens returned to their home in Delaware. And homelessness in the U.S. reaches an all-time high. A survey by the Department of Housing and Urban Development finds the number of people experiencing homelessness is up 12% since last year. The head count, which was taken in January, shows roughly 653,000 people were homeless. That's more than a 70,000 increase from the year before. The survey also found an increase in the number of people who were homeless for the first time. The Biden administration says that the high rent prices and the end of pandemic assistance programs are contributing to the rise. And the U.S. Navy stepping in amid a series of drone attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea. The attacks are causing a major disruption in global trade on one of the world's busiest shipping routes. Some are now calling for the White House to issue a stronger response. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has more.
This is a new Suez crisis. 4 out of the top 5 shipping companies in the world have suspended operations in the Red Sea, and some want President Biden to approve the Pentagon's plans to strike back.
An offensive military response is the only kind of response the Iranians are going to understand and respect. It's time for the administration to act. It's good to have a bunch of nations coming together to protect that shipping, but direct action against Iran is what's needed now.
The USS Carney shot down 14 drones Saturday in the Red Sea. The Pentagon has dispatched 3 more guided missile destroyers, but it'll take some time before they're on station. In the Red Sea, there have been 20 attacks against international shipping in recent weeks. 55 commercial vessels have gone around the African continent to avoid the Suez Canal. Right now, parts of the Red Sea look like a parking lot. Defense Secretary Austin has arrived in Bahrain, home to the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet, and then he's on to Israel and Qatar. Austin is expected to announce a new international task force to protect shipping in the Red Sea. Senator Chris Van Hollen says Russian President Vladimir Putin is loving this disruption to global commerce.
There are also reports that that's what Putin would like to see happen.
Because
have
the
United States get bogged down in the Red Sea, and that means that we get distracted. But to answer your question, clearly, I mean, if U.S. forces are killed, you're going to get a big response from the United States.
The aircraft carrier USS Dwight D. Eisenhower is now off the coast of Yemen, ready to launch its Super Hornets if ordered. Destroyers in the strike group could also launch its Tomahawk cruise missiles to destroy any Houthi targets along Yemen's coastline. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
And that's a look at our Nation Watch this morning.
And coming up, Tanya Bach takes us to a little place near Carthage where home is where the art is.
Hello and welcome to another KOAM News Now.
Just a few miles northeast of Carthage and right off Route 66, you'll find a hidden gem called Red Oak 2. Some call it an art project, others consider it historical preservation, but for the 8 residents who called it home, KOAM's Tanya Buck takes us there.
Any time of day, especially on a weekend, I'll just go outside and there might be 20 people just in my yard taking pictures, hanging out, enjoying Route 66, just taking the tour.
Jeremy Morris was traveling Route 66 himself 12 years ago when he met the creator of Red Oak 2, artist Lowell Davis.
And I talked to him on the porch, found out that people actually live here, which surprised me. And I thought if anything ever comes available, I may buy a house here.
Today, Morris lives at Red Oak 2 in a late 19th century home originally built in Carthage. It's dubbed the Parsonage, simply because it's next to Davis's working church, where there are music jams on Saturday nights and a service every Sunday. Red Oak 2 is actually a sequel community, about 20 minutes west of the original Red Oak. This cemetery, a church, and a few homes are all that really remains of Red Oak, Missouri, the childhood home of Lowell Davis. It used to be a thriving community along Route 66, but after World War II, its residents moved away, basically becoming a ghost town. A fate Mr. Davis was not willing to accept.
So Lowell decided to, at some point, when he made money off his farm figurines, basically, let's start moving these buildings to my property. I have a whole cornfield that I don't use because I'm not a real farmer, and let's make a farm, let's make a town, and I'll recreate from memory what my town was like, but better.
Memories like growing up in the back of his father's general store and attending school in a one-room schoolhouse and outhouses.
Back here is one of our 12 outhouses. This is where Lowell used to keep all his civic awards.
The current feed and seed store was the first building Davis moved from Red Oak to Red Oak 2 in 1987.
They would cut some of these buildings in half and move them in the middle of the night on the streets. And then some buildings, like the log cabins, were moved log by log, sometimes numbered.
Davis also found and moved a number of historical buildings, including this 1850s Civil War home from White Oak, Missouri, and the Clinging Smith cabin that Davis found in a field in La Russell, Missouri.
This is an 1850s cabin. The original wall, south wall, ended right here, made of hand-hewn logs.
Davis passed away 3 years ago, but before he did, he made Morris and the other residents promise him one thing.
He told me before he passed, he said, keep it art. Doesn't have to be my art, but I want it to be art.
A request to take the baton and continue building Red Oak 2 in the spirit and legacy of Lowell Davis. Reporting along Route 66, Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
The residents are making big plans for the Red Oak train station this spring. They are adding a locomotive with a wood tender, flat car, and caboose, and smaller train sets for families to enjoy inside the station. Coming up, Joplin and Seneca Police Department held their annual Shop with a Cop this weekend. Shannon Becker will have the details.
And we've got ourselves a chilly start to the work week. Temperatures will warm up and there's rain chances on the way. We'll have another look at your forecast a little later.
Pro with titanium and iPad and Apple Watch SE all on us. That's up to $1,700 in value, only on Verizon.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:28 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Fallen heroes in Fort Scott are honored during the holiday season. Some volunteers Saturday took time to honor our nation's heroes. They placed wreaths on the graves of veterans buried at the Fort Scott National Cemetery. Officials say it's a great way to show appreciation for those who served our country.
To me, it means on how our community can come together to show how much we appreciate all the soldiers and veterans and the spouses of those veterans who have worked and fought for us throughout their lifetime.
My grandfather served in World War II. He fought at the Battle of the Bulge, and ever since then we have done lots of things for the veterans in the veteran community.
For more information about wreaths across America, just head on over to our website at koamnewsnow.com. And the governors of Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa met this week to discuss managing the Missouri River. The governors met at the Kiewit Luminarium in Omaha with the Army Corps of Engineers. The 3 governors stressed the importance of working collaboratively together, including with the Corps, to move forward after a flood in 2019. The Corps has retained control of more than 400 permits related to the river, with a goal of making sure they keep it from clogging to prevent floods. And dancers at the BTC Athletics and Dance Studio Saturday kicked off the Christmas holiday with the Night Before Christmas dance recital. Dancers were able to show off their skills through different styles of dance, including musical theater, hip-hop, acro, and ballet. Following the performances, attendees were treated to a special appearance from Santa and Mrs. Claus.
So we started our studio just last July, and we wanted to make some new traditions. Christmas is a wonderful time for making traditions, so we thought that we would bring dance into such a beloved story, and that's how we got here today.
The performances began at 4 Saturday afternoon at the Memorial Auditorium. And early Saturday morning, Joplin Police and Seneca Police hosted nearly 200 kids and their Shop with a Cop program. Captain Will Davis of the Joplin Police say it's a great way to build bonds with the kids.
Christmas shopping spree, each kid gets $100 and we're able to go out and they get to pick whatever they want and just have a good time and really kind of build a bond with the kids in our community.
Later this week, when it's not quite as hectic, they will shop with special needs kids in a private event. Of course, both police departments want to thank all the donors who made each year possible. And the Kansas Supreme Court Friday said a lawsuit challenging voting laws enacted in 2021 must be heard. It centers around a law that makes it illegal to, quote, give the appearance of being an election official, something the lawsuit calls overboard and unconstitutionally vague. Reporter Cale Chapman has more.
We are living to fight another day.
Martha Pint, the president of the League of Women Voters Kansas, says this ruling has been years in the making, but there's more that needs to be done.
It's a battle we won. It's not the war. We felt confident all along that if we could just get our concerns aired before one of the courts, we feel very confident that we will come out ahead on this.
The law in question reads, false representation of an election official is knowingly engaging in any of the following conduct while not holding a position as an election official. Representing oneself as an election official, engaging in conduct that gives the appearance of being an election official, or engaging in conduct that would cause another person to believe a person engaging in such conduct is an election official. The League and 3 other nonprofit voting advocacy groups challenged the second and third points in court, saying even if they clearly identify themselves, because people could mistake them for election officials while holding voter registration drives, they risk being charged with a felony.
I was registering voters in Southeast Kansas a handful of years ago, and I've had people ask me, are you at the county clerk's office? Are you at the Secretary of State's office? It's harmless. I correct them and explain the situation. But under this law, that simple mistake of the listener, that then makes me a criminal.
An appeals court dismissed the case, saying the groups lacked standing. Today's decision by the state Supreme Court reinstates their suit and sends the case back to the appeals court for further proceedings.
And we've got ourselves a chilly start to the day out there. Quick look outside. Our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Those clouds that we're rolling through starting to move on out, but we still got a few of them out there. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line, looking pretty good as well. Again, it's a bit cool, but technically above average, 34 both Joplin and Pittsburgh. And as we get the day underway, again, a few clouds here and there. North winds will be gusting upwards of 20 to 25 miles an hour at times. Highs cool but seasonable. Upper 30s, low 40s out there. Rain chances on the way, as well as warmer weather this week. We'll take a look at all that in the full forecast a little later, and we'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
It's time to light up the season during the Make the Holidays Bright sales.
48 hours today at 9, right here on Fox 14.
Well, the countdown to Christmas is getting shorter, but while the real Santa is busy preparing for his gift-giving journey around the world, thousands of Santa impersonators across the planet are helping spread some early holiday joy. Donning Santa costumes as they swarm streets for charity races, rappel from steep heights, scuba dive with deep-sea creatures, and a lot more. Fox News' Chris DeMayo takes a look at these Santas in action.
These sure aren't your average Santas. With Christmas just days away, thousands of people around the world are channeling the spirit of the jolly man in red, donning Santa costumes as they spread cheer to those in need. In Italy, a fleet of Santas traded in their sleighs for boats as they rode down canals in Venice on Sunday. This as hundreds of Santas in Rome took to bicycles for a charity race, benefiting kids with cancer.
This thing isn't exactly made to handle sweat.
Meanwhile, this runner seemed to regret his outfit choice for a massive holiday fun run outside of Paris. As thousands of other Santa Clauses swarmed streets in Mexico City and Kosovo over the weekend for similar events. But even though the real Santa is used to going down plenty of chimneys, this Santa in Guatemala is proving Kris Kringle can really handle heights, rappelling with presents from a train track as eager kids gathered below.
It's a great emotion that's difficult to share, but it's a joy, completely. Us municipal firefighters do this, serving the community. This is a way to do it.
In Germany, a scuba diving Santa and his reindeer helper brought tasty treats to their fishy friends. Visitors to this aquarium absorbing all the action as Santa Claus came across sharks, rays, and turtles. Chris DeMayo, Fox News.
Well, Santa's got to keep in shape one way or the other, regardless. So interesting to see them in all these different places. Well, coming up, Christmas. Well, that's a week from today, and that means thousands of Americans are gearing up for traveling. Madison Scarpino will have some tips so you won't feel vulnerable like a peach while you hit the road. And it's chilly out there, feels like December for sure, and it is windy. We're having another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
I'm not coming out until Casey's has thin crust.
Yeah. Buy one large single topping pizza, get the second 50% off. Only at Casey's.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:40 on this Monday morning. Coming up on 7:41 here shortly. Live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. We're starting to look at clear skies out there, but still some clouds hanging around, and it's still quite breezy. North winds already gusting upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line, looking good as well as a few more folks get their day started, and not too bad from the KDOT camera on 69 East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh, and our camera at 7th and range line also looking pretty good. There's a few clouds there. We saw that big massive clouds roll through here pretty quickly. We're sitting at 34 in Joplin, feels like 25 with the north-northwest breeze at 13, again occasionally gusting upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. Got 30 in Iola, 33 in Fort Scott and Pittsburgh, as well as Miami, 35 in Chautauqua, 34 in Carthage and Neosho. We get our morning started again, low mid-30s out there, eventually making it into the mid to upper 30s. With those mostly clear skies across the area, heading into the afternoon, temperatures are cool today, but about average into the upper 30s and low 40s. Mostly clear skies, breezy, so that north wind definitely going to make it feel colder out there. Will actually be clear as we head through the evening before we see a few more clouds start to return late evening and overnight, and we'll kind of bottom out right around the mid-20s for our overnight lows. However, our return to above average temperatures does not take long. In fact, as early as tomorrow, we're in the low 50s, mid-50s Wednesday, increasing cloud cover ahead of rain chances for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and into our early Sunday morning. And with that, temperatures well above average in the mid to upper 50s out there. Looking at 60 on Christmas Eve day. And then we'll fall back into the upper 40s, so technically early highs in the upper 40s on Monday, but averaging about the low 40s for Christmas Day. So definitely going to feel like December out there, but unfortunately, no white Christmas is going to be in our forecast this year. Now, one quick thing I do want to mention is most of the computer models at this point agree that our rain chances are right here. There's that one straggler, though, that suggests that the rain won't get here until this weekend and will carry into Christmas Day. We'll keep an eye on that because, as we've noted over the last several weeks, we've seen those systems as we get closer to the weekend start to slow down. And if that's the case, then we could see that. But right now, we're looking at rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then next week we'll start to warm back up. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin with a check of Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, federal regulators are investigating recent contaminated cinnamon-flavored applesauce pouches over possible intentional tampering. The fruit puree pouches were recalled over elevated levels of lead that sickened at least 64 children. The Food and Drug Administration says early investigations into 3 pouches point to deliberate acts of contamination. The FDA says the 3 brands at the center of the recalls are Weiss, Guanabana, and Schnucks. The agency says all 3 brands have ties to a manufacturing facility in Ecuador, and the FDA is looking into the facility. The FDA also says that it is possible that motives were economical to help products appear higher in value for better pricing. And a big uptick in one purchasing practice for the holidays could cause lots of hangovers into the new year. Bankrate experts say buy now, pay later programs instituted by many businesses to help delay payments could spell trouble for households in 2024. Bankrate says excessive savings during the pandemic are now gone, and more debt from buy now, pay later could hurt consumers if job markets worsen. Adobe data says use of buy now, pay later rose 40% year over year on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Some services are billed as interest-free loans, but financial experts worry people using these services may trick themselves into spending too much money. And it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas at airports and on the highways across the country. Fox News correspondent Madison Scarpino has that story.
If you're traveling this week ahead of the holidays, you'll have plenty of company on the roads and in the skies.
What we're seeing is that travel demand has been off the charts all of 2023, and this holiday season is no different. We're also expecting this to be the busiest holiday at the airports.
Airlines are expecting a potentially record-breaking number of passengers this year as Christmas and New Year's approach, especially as Americans continue to get more comfortable with traveling post-pandemic.
I think this is like the first holiday season where it kind of feels normal. As normal as it could be.
We had a couple of years where we hardly traveled at all. So yeah, this is definitely a change for the last couple of years.
Airlines are also stepping up their preparations after last winter's cascade of delays and cancellations, increasing staffing and training, and investing in new weather forecast technology and de-icing equipment. AAA is also expecting a lot of traffic on the nation's highways, predicting more than 100 million Americans will drive to their holiday destination. They say the middle of the day is the worst time to get going.
We always say leave early or leave late.
Monday may not be a great day to travel, with a major storm headed up the East Coast that could cause disruptions. As always, check with your airline carrier to monitor any potential delays and give yourself plenty of time to get through security. In Atlanta, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
And that's a look at our top stories for Consumer Watch. We'll be right back with more after this. But first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
When it comes to working with my clients, I'm not just their lawyer.
The Floor.
Let's light it up.
The Floor premieres Tuesday, January 2nd on Fox.
Well, mischievous cat is back with his owners after traveling 200 miles. It's very far. Yes. From home. The song, never mind.
No.
Anyway, the woman who found the little stowaway calls the reunion a Christmas miracle.
Ziggy Hill reports on the cat's journey and homecoming.
It all started about a week before Thanksgiving. I was looking out my window here and I saw a cat down in the pasture running through there.
Bates says it's not uncommon to see cats around her property as she leaves food out for the strays. The cat she saw turned out to be Bobby, a black and orange cat she and her husband had never seen before.
He went to get her and she came right to him. So then he brought her in the basement to me. I came downstairs and I looked at her and she was just so calm, just like the way she is right now.
After taking the cat in, Bates decides to name her Bobby because she has a bobtail. But before she claimed her as her own, she took to Facebook to try and find her rightful owner.
I posted it and I said about how this cat came about and that I named her Bobby and that she can go to her rightful owner. If whoever wants her, she can go back. Otherwise, she's going to be mine.
When a woman from New Jersey responded to that post.
I looked at it and the name wasn't familiar. I went to the Facebook profile and the woman was from New Jersey. And I thought, I don't know anybody from New Jersey. And I looked at all the connections and there was no connection to Green. So my husband and I kept thinking, something's fishy about this.
That meant Bobby would have had to travel over 200 miles from home to end up at the Bates residence.
I finally said to my husband, I said, I think we need to call this woman. So we called her and I said to her, how is it possible we have your cat?
Turns out Bobby accidentally stowed away on a trailer hauling hay bales from New Jersey to a company just 7 miles away.
We both were shocked. And, now they're coming on their way up and they're going to take her back. And it's going to be kind of hard to lose her because I kind of think she's sort of special.
After a long trip from New Jersey, the family had a sweet reunion with their long-lost cat.
Come on in.
Bobby! What happened?
Where'd you go?
Bobby.
And coincidentally, the rightful owners had named the cat Bobby long before Debbie Bates had. She says the whole ordeal is a special thing to be a part of.
What a perfect time of the year for Christmas time to actually feel like I was part of, I think, a Christmas miracle. Because to these people, I'm sure they're going to be so happy to get their cat back. And I just think I think it has God written all over it.
Now, Bobby's owners are also searching for his brother.
Oh.
It's incredible how cats get out and they travel 200 miles
it's
or
like
more.
Down.
Yeah. And then my cat gets out and gets stuck on the neighbor's roof. Didn't travel at all.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that just wonderful? I mean, here's the deal, though. Great story, though, that cat made it, is making it back home. And hopefully you're not missing any pets for this holiday season because, well, it's almost Christmas. It's a week from today.
Christopher.
As for today, we've got a pretty cool day out there, a very chilly start for us. Quick look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell complex. We've got, as you can see here, clear skies, but we've seen a few clouds here and there. We've also seen those north winds gusting upwards of 20 to 25 miles an hour out there. MoDOT camera 20th in range line, sunny skies, plentiful cars on the road as everyone gets their Monday underway. We are, again, cold out there, sitting at 34 in Joplin and 33 in Pittsburgh with those sunny skies out there. And we're going to be cool today, but we're going to be seasonable. Typically the last couple of weeks we've been well above normal. Not today. So we're going to go upper 30s and low 40s across the area with those mostly clear skies. We have rain on the way, we have warmer weather on the way, and we have the news you need to know on the way right after this.
It's Wayside Furniture's big.
From Omaha, Nebraska, we are proud to salute Jim Lawyer, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Joplin police say a vehicle ramped over the roundabout on South Main and crashed Friday night. It happened around 11:30 p.m. Witnesses say the vehicle was traveling around 100 miles per hour before it took to the air and came crashing down. 2 men were in the car. The driver was taken to the hospital, though the extent of his injuries are unknown, and the passenger refused to get care at the scene. AM Railroad and For the Kids Foster and Adoptive Parents Association partnered up to host a family train ride for families in Monette. Each train car had Christmas carols, and those in attendance enjoyed cookies and hot chocolate. Santa was also there to pass out goodie bags and to spread holiday cheer. The train ride lasted approximately 1 hour round trip, going from Monette to Exeter, Missouri. And early Saturday morning, Joplin Police and Seneca Police hosted nearly 200 kids and their Shop with a Cop program. Captain Will Davis of the Joplin Police say it's a great way to build bonds with the kids. Later this week, when it's not quite as hectic, they will shop with special needs kids in a private event. Of course, both police departments thank all the donors who make each year possible.
And we've got ourselves a cool day, but seasonable as we go into the upper 30s, low 40s today. Mostly clear skies, winds out of the north gusting occasionally 20, 25 miles an hour. Clear through the evening and then a few more clouds overnight, partly cloudy, cold, but again seasonable as we go back into the mid-20s. Temperatures increasing through the 50s to near 60 by the end of the week, with rain building in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and unfortunately we're not looking at a white Christmas again this year.
All right. Well, the sky over Quito was filled with color and enchantment last Friday as hot air balloons took flight during the second International Balloon Festival, Middle of the World 2023.
The event took place in the middle of the world city where the monument to the equator is located. 20 balloons guided by international pilots took off. One hot air balloon pilot said, "It's my privilege to be here. It's a very unique location where we are. I've been all around the world. I flew in all the continents, and this is so unique. I haven't experienced anything like this anywhere in the world." The balloons ascended at 6 a.m. and flew for 2 hours. Very cool.
I always wanted to do a hot air balloon ride. It's on my bucket list.
Columbus Days. They have hot air balloons.
All right.
You know,
I will
check
be there.
that out.
All right.
Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your day.